Hey everyone, welcome back to the Easy Chat English podcast. I'm Amelia, and with me today is my amazing co-host, Ethan. How are you doing today?
Hey Amelia. I'm great, thanks. I'm really excited about today's episode because we're tackling a topic that so many of our listeners have been asking about. How to improve your IELTS speaking at home.
Yes, that's right. The speaking part of the IELTS can be really tricky, especially if you don't have someone to practice with every day. But don't worry, we've got some great tips and strategies that will help you prepare and improve, even if you're practicing solo.
Absolutely. And the best part is you don't need fancy tools or a lot of money. You can do all of this from the comfort of your home. Trust us, we've been there.
So, let's dive right in. First off, why is the speaking section so important? I think a lot of learners might not realize how much this section impacts their overall score.
That's a great point. The speaking section not only tests your ability to communicate clearly, but also how well you can express your ideas in English. It's one of the most personal sections of the test. You're having a real conversation with an examiner.
Exactly. And because it's a live conversation, it can feel intimidating. I remember when I was practicing for my own language exams, speaking was always the hardest part for me. I was so nervous about making mistakes.
Same here. But the good news is the more you practice, the easier it gets, and that's what we're going to help you with today. Making speaking practice at home a fun and effective routine.
So, let's start with something simple. Daily habits. You don't need to practice for hours each day. Even just 10 or 15 minutes can make a big difference if you're consistent.
Absolutely. And you don't always need a partner to practice with either. One thing I love to do is just talk to myself in English. It might sound silly, but it really helps.
Exactly. Whether you're describing your day, what you're cooking, or even narrating your actions, practicing out loud can boost your confidence. I used to talk to my pet dog, and he was a great listener.
That's a good one. And another thing that works really well is recording yourself. You can listen back and hear where you might need to improve, like your pronunciation or the flow of your sentences.
Yes, I used to do that too. It feels weird at first, but trust me, it works wonders. You get to hear your mistakes, and after a few tries, you'll start sounding more natural. So, we've covered daily habits to improve speaking. Now, let's get a little more specific with IELTS. One thing that really helps is practicing common IELTS speaking topics. Things like your hometown, hobbies, or family.
Yes, I always recommend choosing a random topic every day and timing yourself as you answer. Just like in the real test. For example, one day you could talk about your favorite holiday destination, and the next day you could describe a memorable experience you had.
Exactly. It's all about getting comfortable with the kinds of questions they'll ask in the exam. I also like using sample answers as a guide. You don't have to memorize them, but they give you a good idea of how to structure your response.
Yes, but it's important to make those answers your own. Add personal details and make your story unique. That way it sounds more natural and authentic.
That's a great point. Examiners want to hear you, not a script.
Now let's talk about using technology to practice. There are so many tools out there now that make practicing speaking at home easier than ever.
Yes, one of my favorite tools is language exchange apps like HelloTalk or Tandem. You can find people from all over the world who are learning English or even native speakers who want to chat.
I love those apps. You can set up quick conversations with real people and practice your speaking in a natural way. Plus, you get instant feedback.
And let's not forget about voice-activated assistants like Google Assistant or Siri. You can ask them questions in English and practice your responses. I used to challenge myself to ask Siri a random question every day. It's a fun way to keep the practice going.
That's such a clever idea. Also, YouTube is a fantastic resource. There are tons of IELTS practice videos where you can pause and practice your responses. It's like having a virtual teacher right there with you. If you can, it's also really helpful to find a speaking partner. They don't have to be a native English speaker, just someone you can practice with.
Yes, and even if they're not studying for IELTS, you can still practice general conversation topics with them. I had a language exchange partner who was learning my native language, and we'd spend 10 minutes speaking English, then 10 minutes in her language. It was a win-win.
That's a great way to do it. And if you can't find someone locally, there are online communities where you can find speaking partners. Plus, you could even organize mock IELTS, speaking tests with a friend or tutor.
Yes, mock tests are key. Recording yourself under exam conditions can help you get used to the pressure and improve your timing.
Let's talk a bit about confidence because a lot of learners struggle with speaking English due to fear or nervousness.
Exactly. It's totally normal to feel shy or afraid of making mistakes. But here's the thing. Nobody speaks perfectly all the time, not even native speakers. So don't let the fear of mistakes hold you back.
Right. The key is to keep going. The more you practice, the more confident you'll get. And over time, those mistakes will happen less and less.
Another tip is to focus on fluency, not perfection. It's better to speak clearly and at a natural pace than to try to be perfect. Slow down if you need to, and take natural pauses.
That's a really important point. Pausing when you need to think is perfectly fine. It's better than filling the silence with or Practicing this can really help your fluency.
All right, we've covered a lot today, from daily speaking habits to using technology, finding a partner, and building confidence. Remember, improving your IELTS speaking skills is a process, but with consistent practice, you'll see progress.
That's right. Don't get discouraged if it feels slow at first. Every little bit of practice counts, and before you know it, you'll start feeling more comfortable and confident.
We'd love to hear how you're improving your speaking at home. If you try any of these tips, let us know by leaving a comment or sending us a message.
And that's it for today's episode. We hope you found these tips helpful and that you'll start incorporating them into your daily routine.
Thanks so much for tuning in, everyone. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss our next episode. And as always, happy studying!
Take care, everyone. See you next time.